Welcome to A-Side Boxing. I'm one of your hosts, Marlon Parker, alongside Ray Massey and Carlos Massey. What's going on, guys?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, y'all?
Not much. All right, what's good? Look, we got a lot to talk about. Some really good fights on last night. Danny Garcia, Jose Benevidez Jr. We also got to see your boy, Adam Kanaki. I always get his name incorrect. Carlos likes me.
The Polish guy.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but you did. Thank you, Ray. Okay, right. The Polish guy from Brooklyn, and it was another good fight before that. Oh,
yeah.
Come on, say it, Ray. You can give it to us.
You talking about Gary Russell Jr.?
Exactly. Yeah. Come on. Did I have to prep you for that?
Yeah. I know. Right. I mean, I thought about. So what are we talking about? All right, my fault. All right. Yeah. He fought
Rince Bartholomew.
Bartholomew, yeah, that was a good fight.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good fight. I know what you're leading into, the stoppage.
Yeah.
What did you think?
We talked about it last night. I hate to leave.
Yeah, but they wasn't with us. Whoever's watching don't know exactly what we said on that thread. For various reasons, we can't share it anyway. Give me what you got.
Yeah. No, I thought it was stopped prematurely, like most people. I thought the ending would have been elementary, though. I mean, I don't think anything would have been different. But I do agree with Bartholomew's coach. He denied the fans a great fight by stopping it when Bartholomew didn't seem to be. He was buzzed, but he wasn't hurt.
Yeah. It was a little premature for me too. It was actually to me one of the better fights, the best fight of the night. I was on the edge of my seat for wanting more, and then he just waved it off. I'm like, oh man, you gotta at least give a veteran like Bartholomew a chance to go if he say okay. He wasn't wobbling around, so.
Thank you, Ray, for just showing us the palm of your hand.
Sorry.
Your grease in your hand.
Yeah, okay. Looks like you have a short lifeline.
No, right. Something popped up on my phone. I'm like, what's going on?
You're on too many bad sites. Moving right along. As far as, look, we're going to go point, counterpoint.
All right.
Most people believe the stoppage was premature.
Right.
Even if I don't believe it, I'll argue against it. In that split moment, Bartholomew got clipped. He got up, the count's going. He's still feeling the effects. He's wobbly, but nothing abnormal. He's still walking away from the ref. He's trying to buy time till he gets his legs back. The ref finally squares up with him. Within an instant, he looks into his eyes and waves off the fight. Yeah. Whatever that ref saw within that instant, he will have to articulate it to the commission. But maybe he saw something we didn't see. We've seen so many fights where as soon as the ref waves the fight off, the guy, he gets animated and he looks like as if he was never hurt. But to give this guy, look, let's just say maybe he saw something. Maybe his eyes twitched. Maybe it was something that, we don't have a POV camera to know what the ref saw when he looked at him. However, it was something that concerned him enough that he said, hey, you're done. Let's just give him, maybe that was it. In a split second, he made the decision that it was over. I don't know. It looked as if he could continue, but that ref has been trained. He's been in championship fights before. And look, you kind of have to side with him until anything else shows you otherwise. How can you say he didn't see anything concerning?
I don't know. As many fights as I've seen, even like let me reference Tyson Fury fight when he fought Deontay Wilder. He got hit with a huge shot, went down, did a veteran move, laid there, got his stuff together,
Popped up like Michael Myers.
popped up, asked him, was he okay? Walked to me. I'm okay, and he let him go. So I just think he might have just kind of jumped the gun. When he looked at the tape again, I think he jumped the gun. That was a great fight, and for it to end like that, not even saying that the outcome would have been any different, right?
Mhm.
It was highly probable that Russell probably would have pressed him and got the stoppage, but you know, if people train hard for these fights, man, we just see Sam on TV, but behind the scenes, man, they put in months and months of training. You know, you gotta give him a fair shot.
Yeah.
What do you say, Greg?
For me, I mean, like you said, other examples will be the Corrales Castillo fight.
All right, now you're just picking with me because you know I'm a huge Corrales fan.
Yeah. But there's so many others. I mean, that's low hanging fruit right there. But at the end of the day, Bartholomew is a former champion. It's a general. The thing with with the boxing corporations, what we all need to get in uniformed is, what is the SOP? What is the standard operating procedure on a fighter that gets hurt? Because they all use this personal discretion thing that turns out horrible for entertainment. That's one of the reasons why UFC fights get way more money, way more draw, way more excitement, because they let them fight. They let them fight. This guy got hurt, right? Okay, he got hurt. He got up. He looked the guy dead in the face and said, "Yeah, I'm okay." I don't see he can articulate, and he should be willing to talk to the camera and say, "Hey, no, this is what I saw," because nobody else saw anything differently. And this whole code of silence thing, once it's over, it just makes it even worse, because it doesn't make sense why a former champion isn't given the benefit of the doubt. This is a standard norm when it comes to former champions fighting. We know that they've already proven themselves. They've proven their pedigree in battle. Give them an opportunity to fight and bring the fight back. This referee, you know, I don't know, man. He didn't give the Bartholomew an opportunity that a former champion deserves to go out on his shield, or not even that, to prove why he's champion and why, you know, Russell was the challenger. He didn't give him that opportunity. It was stolen from him. So
okay. However, if you were that ref, put yourself in his shoes. You looked at Bartholomew for an instant. His eye twitches or his eye rolls. Do you throw all that stuff out the window about him being a champion, giving him, and you say, "Look, I need to protect this fighter"? Or if you see something in his eye within a millisecond that says, "Hey, something's not right here," do you stop it too and say, "I'll deal with the backlash"?
I mean, I think you have to have more than an eye twitch and an eye roll, but I get you. I hear what you're trying to go with.
Well, I'm building an argument for this rep if he watches our show. So don't give a statement if he watch our show.
Well, this should be, to me, one of the deciding factors is when they stop most of the fights is two things. They can't walk to him, right? They're on wobbly legs, right? Or they to the point they so hurt that their head moving around, their eyes moving around, then you can stop it. But like I said, I didn't see any indication of that. But I think we just beating the dead horse, man, with this. It's going, you know, in the weeks to come, we'll see what they say about it. But
exactly,
like I said, I don't think it would have been any difference. But to this day, that was the toughest fight that Russell faced, and it was the best fight that came on last night, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, really. It was a good fight to me. Russell got flipped a couple of times, but I don't know if it was the best fight. that Garcia fight. Well, I don't want to. I know you want to lead into your boy from Brooklyn, Los, because you really like him. That fight was, man. I don't know what to say about that fight. As a matter of fact, I'll probably try to reserve judgment.
It's a good fight. I mean, you're talking about heavyweights, man. They were letting the hands go.
Yeah.
What you saw was, you know, a more polished fighter, a polished amateur coming into the pro ranks against, you know, a more novice pro, because I know he had some good fights. I keep forgetting the Polish gentleman's name, but that fight was it was a good fight because you had two heavyweights throwing lots of punches, and they didn't. I mean, at any time he probably could have checked out, because some of those shots his head was snapped, and so I mean, I'm sure no one would judge him if he was.
Yeah. They threw a lot of punches last night. I think that some fighters get caught with their wheels in the mud in their career when they get too comfortable with just doing the same thing. And I think that's part of his demise. He coming up, it worked for him. It worked for him, throwing a lot of shots at with the heavyweights up and down, overwhelming them. But it seemed like everybody's got him figured out. They know that he can do that for 5 rounds, but the second half of the fight is kind of like when he slowed down, and he's easy to hit. So
because he pulled straight back.
Yeah, he pulled straight back. He's just easy to hit. So when you that big and you start slowing down, it was target practice from 5 through 10.
Okay, I agree. I wasn't hugely interested in the fight, and I like him, Kanaki, but it wasn't compelling. Now, which was a fight that I really enjoyed. You may feel differently. Garcia and Benevidez. That was a thoroughly entertaining fight. They fought so close together. It was a lot of good defense. There were a lot of punches that were sliding and just barely missing. I didn't want to make a prediction before the fight. Some people on this podcast did, and they were terribly wrong. I didn't name Nate, but I heard dog will holler. So
I put a unanimous decision. Garcia, I can show you the screenshot.
Oh, hey, Ray, I heard dog will holler. We already got Carlos laughing out loud.
Hey, listen. If anybody in their right mind thought that Danny was going to lose that fight, something's wrong, man. That was just more to mess with y'all, but I knew it was going to go down like it went down. I mean, Danny Garcia, he's a veteran fighter. He's been doing it since he was a kid. It was another day in walk in the park for him. Never walk in the park. He looked good, though, to me. He looked good. To be off for, what they said, 1.5 years?
Yeah.
Do you agree with the judges' scorecards?
It was a shutout. It was pretty much a shutout. Benevidez might have won like 3 rounds, 2-3 rounds.
Really?
If that. I'm talking about, and I said if that.
You sound like a Benevidez.
Nah, he didn't do enough, man. You can't get in there against Danny Garcia. He did a little something, but he didn't do enough.
Really? And what did you think, Ray? I thought the fight was closer. What about yourself? What about you, Ray?
I didn't think it was close. I didn't think it was really that competitive, to be honest.
Really?
You asked me what
Carlos just gave him 2 rounds.
Yeah, so when you say 2 rounds is not competitive, especially when it's going, well, that fight went well.
I never used competitive. I say closer.
2, that's not even close. If you think that winning 2 rounds out of 12 rounds makes it a close fight, we need to get calibrated on between the three of us. What I saw last night was a smaller fighter moving up to a high weight class against a natural fighter in that weight class and surviving. Of course, the smaller fighter is going to be fast, but Garcia couldn't take his power and do to Benevidez what he did to some of the other fighters that he did at his weight class. You know what I'm saying? So what he couldn't do is he couldn't use that equalizer or that fight night championship, right hook, and just straight take Benevidez out or knock him across the ring. He just couldn't do that because he was too small. Benevidez just absorbed it, laughed at him, talked to him the whole fight, but Benevidez couldn't hit him. And so what it looked like was Danny Garcia was okay with just surviving and winning. I mean, he threw a couple flurries here and there to get the crowd excited, but he knew he couldn't do anything with Benevidez. So, I mean, I don't know how well he'll do against other or bigger welterweights, but I don't know. I think he should go back down.
I mean, it's his first time campaigning at that weight. Skill wise, he has the skills. I think if you get a couple more fights at that weight, at least 2 more, to settle into it, because he got one thing you leave behind when you move in a weight class is power. So if he can kind of bring it up with him, some of that power, I think that would have been a determining factor. But he caught Benevidez with some solid shots. Most of the punches were grazing his gloves though. I'm interested to see because Tony Harrison was in the house last night, and it sounded like Tony wanted that fight next, but I heard Garcia mention Laura, so I don't know about that. I mean, I wouldn't do that one. I wouldn't do that one. That's interesting.
First, just to jump back to the point where you and I go back and forth all the time, right? Closer is different from being competitive. I didn't say anything about being competitive. I had Benevidez winning three rounds, and maybe a fourth was up in the air. But that may have been generous.
He won the face-off.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that one. So then, just now coming back to this, Danny Garcia looked good for his first fight at 154, and he didn't fight a tomato can. He fought someone who's really good, who was really good a while ago, still has skills. Obviously, he'll never be the fighter he was with that leg injury, but he could have chosen a much easier fight for his debut at 154. Much credit to Danny Garcia, and actually pull it off. And he took punishment. He took punishment somewhat. A lot of those punches were coming off, and he used excellent defense last night. I have to give him all the credit once again. He looked good against Benevidez. How that translates to another fighter like Lar, who moves a lot more, or Harrison, that I'm unsure of. But you see at 154, he can survive at 154. I'm not sure if he can thrive at 154, and he can beat a certain type of fighter at 154.
Right.
So
I think
he's there.
I think Danny Garcia is a boxer puncher's dream. He's flat-footed. He's flat-footed. Okay. He can fight. He can fight on his toes for maybe a round and a half. No disrespect to Danny. I love watching Danny Garcia, to be honest. I like it when he's fighting at 47. But just at 54, it ain't gonna work. Is that you got he's short,
Too small, yeah.
He has a short arm reach. All he really had at that lightweight is his power, and that's why he was comfortable walking fighters down. But when you saw these bigger fighters who fight on their toes like Laura and can crack too, oh my God, and they can box for much more than one round. The level of boxing that he displayed, I think it was in round 10 or 11. He was on his toe, man. He was looking like a ballerina. He was all over the place.
Yeah.
Then he immediately went back to flat foot because it takes a lot out of you. This guy Laura can do it for 12 straight rounds.
Yeah. And he gonna keep feeding the power hand.
Yeah, and he gonna keep feeding the power hand, and he can dance. So if he gonna dance, you gonna find that he's definitely gonna be in trouble fighting some of these bigger welterweights who know how to dance, and they don't have a bad leg.
Okay, what about Garcia versus Hurd, the guy that stays in front of him?
I knew you was gonna say that too.
Yes, you knew
I knew you was gonna say that for some reason.
Hurd is big. It might work. I don't because Hurd takes unnecessary shots sometimes, but then sometimes Hurd doesn't. So that's an interesting fight. But you remember that it was a couple fights ago where the short dude was piecing Hurd up before Hurd got him out of there.
Yeah, but I think what Hurd would do with Garcia, his best option is the pressing. You know what I'm saying? Overwhelm him with just don't change nothing, just pressing. And keep your hands up, because Danny, he got that I don't say wild, but that, the video game power hook that he loves to throw. But Hurd is like massive compared to Danny Garcia.
Yeah, that may not work. I can't see, and I know Hurd has a tendency to fight small, but I just can't see Danny Garcia hurting. I think Hurd is too big, and he's for way bigger punchers who managed to hurt him. But I just don't. I mean, he basically got laughed off last night when he landed his big shots against Benevidez. So I don't know. But I commend him for his end of fight, speech, and how he talked about dealing with, depression
and anxiety.
I mean, that's real. So, and I think it came from a pure place, what he was talking about. Because I think everybody, to an extent, deals with levels of anxiety, and in the boxing profession, it's a little bit different because you're doing it under the lights and the scrutiny of and having to deal with everybody's ridicule and folks like us, opinion on stuff and not realizing that it's a human behind that. You know what I'm saying? So I commend him for
don't throw us all into that bag. I realize there's a human behind it. I'm pretty level with my criticisms.
No, you're pretty brutal. I heard.
Actually, I'm pretty nice, and no, I'm pretty nice. No, it's you guys, Carlos. Before you say anything, you're a guy. How many rows you have in that vehicle? Looks like you have 3 or 4. What, you're in a Ford Excursion?
Nah, I'm in a.
Oh, you're a Metro Access van. You picking up people.
That's you. I'm outside your house waiting on you to come out.
Oh, that's creepy. That's creepy. Oh, that's creepy.
But yeah, it was a good night of action. I heard the Jake Paul fight might be off. Y'all heard anything about that?
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't saying I was gonna watch it, but I'm just saying.
It seems like you were.
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence whether I can really, do we really call that boxing, or is that more of an exhibition?
That's entertainment. That's not boxing. Yeah. That's entertainment.
So it's an exhibition. It's really not serious. If he may actually decide to step up and take a serious fighter and take that risk, and I would pay for that.
Well, I heard. So the latest word on the blog sites that they wanted Rockman to lose a crazy amount of weight within a very short amount of time, which we all know, if you don't do that the healthy way in the right way, that can result in you being drained. And that's a tactic. I'm not going to say any names, but some high-profile fighters.
Might as well say the name. I know who you're talking about. I don't think we're going to get them on here.
I'm not going to say no names, but I've heard that is a very common practice when selecting fighters, get them to fight you at a drained weight class, weight where you'll probably kill yourself to make it, and then fight you. If Jake Paul is campaigning at heavyweight, and this fight at heavyweight, all these catches between the weight, and you can't be, you can be 225, but you can't be 215, ain't that crazy stuff. Hey, look, you campaign at heavyweight. I never saw a fight with Mike Tyson where he demanded that the person, weigh a certain weight from the fight. It's for everybody to put in front of them. Yeah. So if you're gonna state that you're a fighter, and you can, and I saw him on this YouTube, and I'm not gonna go into my rant, but I really wanted to
go rant.
But he was talking about comparing himself against how many fights. I think he said something about Ali and how many fights Tank had at their sixth fight, and Ryan Garcia had his sixth fight. And he said, "Look at me, I'm fighting a guy who's 21-1." And I'm just like, dude, did you just compare yourself against the likes of, Tank, as I say, Tank? He's nowhere near, he has no pedigree. He's just a kid that got a lot of money and a lot of fans on YouTube. And this is where it makes a mockery of boxing.
But he knows how to sell himself. And regardless of how we feel, people are still tuning in, and he still has these opportunities. And while we may be boxing purists and we kind of frown upon it, there are a lot of people, it's still bringing in fans, even casual fans. So maybe the sport benefits. And maybe that's maybe the next show can be about that. Because
I wonder how it would have turned out, though. I wonder how this one would have turned out, because this time he's fighting a somewhat like a boxer.
Yeah, but
so I mean, I don't know. I'm at the point where
that's to be continued. Yeah, I hate to cut you off, but that's to be continued. We're running up against the clock. We need to leave something. We need to leave a cliffhanger. So hey, the next show, I guess, is about the Jake Paul fight, whoever he picks up. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Obviously, thank the panel, my co-hosts, Ray and Carlos. As Carlos picks up his passengers. And we'll see you again next week.
All right,
All right, guys.